things, people, and happiness we have in our lives. Hello, Srijaa. Srijaa is a young author, law student, and a former intern with our organization. So I immensely welcome you. So it's a proud moment for us as you are a former intern with our organization. So, ma'am, I proudly welcome you to our event in which we will have a great interaction, a rapid fire round wherein I'll ask you questions about your career and journey, how you have been here. And I would like to congratulate you. I'm super proud that you have recently published your own book, Pearls of Simplicity, which is also available on platforms like Amazon and Flipkart. So very proud that we welcome you to our organization for this discussion round. Welcome, ma'am. Would you
Thank
like
you.
to share some words?
Yes, thank you so much for having me here.
Okay, so I would like to put up some questions with you, and I would like you to interact with me in those so that all the participants who are watching us, the volunteers, would get to know about the journey, how you achieved, and you being a law student, how you came up in this field of literature and writing books and co authoring many authors who have been so good in this field. So the first question I would like to ask you is in finding about a little about you, since you are a law student, we are curious like what was your experience, how you moved on to writing literature, and how did you come to language as a thought process? And so what inspired you to basically firstly write this your first book, Pearls of Simplicity? So I would like to know.
Okay, so as a child, book covers really fascinated me. I used to look at contrasting ones, the colorful ones, and I started glancing at the back covers. Then, after that, and started reading the description of the books and about the author. From bedtime stories to reading novels, and at night to fall asleep was a really good habit of mine. But now, as the times changed, the technology changed, there was digital transformation which led everyone to read books online or have a Kindle edition. But the best way was to touch the books and feel its beauty. As the world paced towards information explosion, the effective communication became a need for all, and for the poets, expression is an art. That's how I realized that language is so powerful. And yes, being a law student, my inclination towards poetry and music is still there, because you can work on your career but still pursue your passion. So my way of expression is also utilized, as I love researching in law too, and many articles have been published, and I have co-authored many books on the same too. Like a book on fashion law was published, and I was one of the contributing authors for the same, by Legal Desire Media. And I also contributed in books like Remember the Roses by the Right Order, and published a few poetry pieces on various social media handles like the Poets Hub. I also
Yeah.
have a page titled Music Poetry Academia. The three things I love: music, poetry,
Okay.
and academia. So, this gives me a platform to express myself. So, pursuing my passion and delivering it in form of a hard book to motivate the youth towards reading is what inspired me to write this book.
Okay. So like this was a very well understanding for us like how you came up from the field of law pursuing and writing into literature. Now I would like to ask you that as you have also worked with Sarkari school organization as a former intern, what was the experience you have gained in your tenure or the learnings which might have helped you in your further future?
Okay, so I started my journey here in 2021 as a volunteer, in which I created content, researched on landmark judgments, conducted workshops for standards 6 to 12th for both the government and private schools. Then I got promoted as an intern, where I published articles in the newsletter, conducted Instagram lives from Project Sambal, and handled the social media content. After that, I was promoted as a school team head, in which I handled a team of children contributing towards making legal awareness. I organized along with my team various quiz competitions for the same. Overall, it was a great exposure and a great learning experience. And I'm really happy to be associated here, and and glad for all my mentors and co-colleagues who really uplifted my morale and always helped me out. And I'm very grateful for everyone here.
Okay. So, like your answers tells everyone around and the future colleagues who will be joining our organization, and all the interns who already are in the organization, how it's more helpful for them as when they are developing their career and at a starting phase of the career. It will be very nice for them to hear your insights, like now you had an experience of research writing during your internship tenure, so you also gain some experience while how you can make good, come up with good things in your language part and writing your book. So ma'am, now I'm been wondering, like what have been the ups and downs for you, like going all together to publishing your own book? So it would have been difficult, so I would like to know about that as well.
So the overall journey as a writer is of course not very sugar sweet. Sometimes you're out of ideas, sometimes you're out of information, sometimes
Yeah.
you fiddle for the right words. There's always a mood like we all have. The right time and then poetry just flows. So here I'd like to quote a few lines from my poem titled Shades of Poetry, which would describe basically your question was ups and downs. So I'd like to
Yeah.
describe the imperfect way. So we're all poetry, different interpretations, complicated and difficult to understand. A collection of alphabets that don't rhyme together, but look incomplete when apart. We are words stringed together like inseparable souls, making a beautiful quote. A stanza of subtleties as we chase, looking all around. So this
Yeah.
highlights that the imperfect makes the perfect, and the incomplete words, when joined together, makes sense. So yes, there are ups and downs, but still,
Yeah.
when you join the words together and when you're finally able to write a full piece of poetry, then your happiness is all you need. You forget the ups and downs.
So like you must be very excited like when you launch your book, and it's also available on platforms like Amazon and Flipkart all over the world. Like it's greatly a pleasure to invite be with interaction with you. So also I would like to know from you, who was the most supporting person in your journey, and how supportive is your family in your like career while you choose your career as a writing person?
My family is very supportive since the start. Since my childhood, my parents have given me full freedom to pursue my passion. I was never forced to do something. I chose law myself. They always guided me, and they never stopped me from writing or pursuing writing apart from doing law. So they always taught me to appreciate different art forms. Earlier, I used to learn Kathak. Then I'm a third year classical vocalist, and then I started writing from my school magazines to then getting all over published, and then finally writing my own book. So there's one thing which I used to find really annoying at the start. My mother used to give me 100 words as form of dictation from one chapter, even if the chapter was only
Okay.
4 pages long. My mother used to find 100 words and then I had to write them. So I used to get pretty annoyed that why do I have to write so many words if I could write only 10 words while other students are writing only 10. But later I realized that it really improved my vocabulary and my expression in form of writing. So the writing expression at an early age would really improve, and I am very happy that I did that, and my vocabulary is improved really well. And my parents are really happy to listen to my poetic pieces, and they always appreciate me, and they never stop me from pursuing it. So they're very supportive.
Okay. So we can say that family plays a great role in like your career and your development as a person, as an author and writer. Now on, I can say that thing. So, but also I want you to tell me some things for the all the teenagers and youngsters watching us, or who can mentor from you as a person to look upon. What would be your guidelines for them? What can they improve? What skill they can work on to be an author or go in the field of writing?
Okay, sure. So also I'd like to add that my teachers from school, my teachers from college, my principal and my dean really always motivated me to pursue my passion. And really, as a message for the teenagers and the young people here, I'd like to say that you're not too young to start off anything. You're never too young to learn and explore the world. So always explore yourself, discover what you can do the best. I am still discovering too. So I have a Chrome extension on my laptop which displays the quotes every day, new ones every day, and also gives me vocabulary and motivation every day. So there's a new quote. It says "Good morning, Srijaa," "Good afternoon, Srijaa," and then it displays a quote. So I learned that new thing. And there is also a to-do list on the right corner which helps me stay focused. Not like I always focus. That doesn't mean I don't procrastinate. I do. Obviously, there are rest days. The rest days are very important, but it's important to embrace your creative side and love yourself. So when you rest, you get more ideas. You choose a theme, like I choose the sky, the nature, and then I start writing. So the words really inspire me. So if I click a word, that the sky, so I can describe the sky in so many ways. I can describe the moon in so many ways. So that is what the poetic nature is all around. The poetry is all around the nature. The poetry is everywhere. That's it. So keep learning. And
Yeah.
lastly, I'd like to mention that we call it the World Wide Web. So rather refer to it as the World Wisdom Web. So never stop learning. Search for meaning of words, search for antonyms, search for synonyms, and improve your vocabulary always. And then you'll be really great at literature. So that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so like one thing which is going in my mind right now. So like you have published a book, and now I would like to know how many are the unpublished or the unfinished books in your to-do list. So
Okay. So personally, I love to write poems on my notes app in my phone. So whenever I get the free time, I scribble words. But personally, I have some unfinished poetry that I'm still writing, and I have some poetry lined up that needs some polishing. So I'm planning to write a book with a compilation of short stories next, like I have done for the poetry.
okay, so I would also like to know what type of the back research you have to do before publishing a book or before you begin or start writing your book. So some insights about that.
Like I already mentioned that you always need to read, you always need to learn and improve your vocabulary. So that is very important to form a great knowledge base so that you can pour out words. But yes, poetry always pours from the heart. So when you have these things in mind, the words will naturally flow and then you'll connect the dots to, and the words will string together. So reading is most important part of the journey, and the most important part again is ideation, how you ideate. The writer's mind is very versatile. It has new thoughts, it has new words every day.
Sure.
So keep jotting down these words, research, and finally you'll make a full sentence and then a full poem. So I even shared a video on my poetry music poetry academy. That is my page on Instagram. I shared my
Okay.
journey. So I used to write on paper and then scribble, and I used to cut off and I used to feel it's not good. But then I started changing my ways. I used to write on my notes app, I used to write on my laptop, and then I finally was able to make a full-fledged poetry piece. So then I
Yeah.
was really proud of myself. So when I collected all my poems and got it published, so that gives you the motivation to write more. So you can improve your skills to write. It doesn't matter if you scribble and throw the paper. Always start off again. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And there is no stipulated time which takes when you research for a book. You just have your compilation of books. I always glanced at various publishing, so I came across Bookleaf Publishing. It is an amazing publishing in India and US, and it gives us the opportunity. If you get selected, there are a lot of tedious processes that you have to go through. Firstly, you write the book, then they choose whether you will be eligible for that or not. Then there's an editing process, and then you have book process where you write the book description, and then there's an option when you have to design the book cover. The book cover was my favorite one because I designed the book cover myself.
Okay. Okay, so as you mentioned, you also have to design your book cover by yourself. So, which is the most difficult part in your artistic field or your process of writing a book?
I have always felt that imagination, creativity, and expression are the real souls of human mind. Curious mind is an explorer, which leads to imagination, and imagination should be expressive. The platform of expression can be through various ways like speaking or writing, and perspective is expressed through music, poetry, or academia. That is how I mentioned the three pillars and my three favorite things. So abstract thinking is very important. So the difficult part is that my creations are publishing ready at my own pace. So as I told you, the poetry flows from its own. The poetry flows from the heart. So you need a certain state of mind, certain place, and certain mood to write poetry. Sometimes you might not have ideas, like I mentioned in the ups and downs. So that is the difficult part of the artistic process, that you might not have ideas all the time. So you should not give up. You should keep working and find more ideas, connect the dots, connect the words, and make poetry out of it.
Okay, so would you like to share some of the names of your favorite childhood books or poems which you loved the most?
Okay, so as a kid, this is not a poem, but I really loved the book Diary of a Wimpy Kid, as everyone as
Okay.
teenagers used to love it in our time. It was my favorite fiction book series, which talks about a middle schooler who illustrates his daily life in a diary. So earlier, I also used to watch button poetry videos. You must have seen on YouTube and on
Yeah.
various platforms the button poetry. So it is spoken poetry. So my favorite one was When Love Arrives by Sarah K and Phil K. So one of the most important part of written expression is ideation, and one of the most important part of spoken expression is how you write your poetry in a way that the first and third and fifth line uh, have a connection in between them, so that your voice modulation matches it. So when the voice modulation matches, the people are already attracted to your poetry, and then they focus on the words. So this poetry by Sarah K and Phil K was really amazing, because these two as a duet really had that voice to present that poetry in front. So currently I was reading Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to Happiness, and The Secret. So these are very famous books, and they all have an impact in our life. So you should
Yeah.
always look for ways to be happy in life and have gratitude.
Okay, so now that I got to know your inspiration from where you're getting it, also I would like to ask you that what inspired you for the name of your book, like as it is Pearls of Simplicity? So the unique name and the research, whatever information or details you searched about beforehand, going for this specific title only for your book.
Okay, so as the name itself says, pearls of simplicity. There is no end to the wants and desires, but simplicity has its own charm. So, pearl is very light, and glamour and grandeur have their own weight, like any other ornament. But pearl is very simple. So, if we consider the complexities of life, so that's how we weave the thread of our life, that pearls of simplicity. So, simplicity is a step ahead of complexity. So the book is an endeavor of gratitude. So my book, Pearls of Simplicity, it gives a glimpse of how a series of soulful alphabets poured from the heart are weaved into poetic verses. As I spoke from the start, the the alphabets becomes words. The words become sentences. The sentences become verses, and the verses become a full-fledged poem. So that is how, through pearls of strings and through simplicity, my book was developed. So my book talks about my journey and myself, basically how I am discovering myself, and how the pearls of simplicity, the pearls of the complex, it talks about a different way how you read it. The complexities of life are described in a very simple way, and how you discover yourself and how you love yourself. So that's it.
Okay, Srija. So this was a really insightful session with you. All the people watching us and for the teenagers looking forward to come in the field. So it is a great learning experience for us. And also after this meet with you, firstly the thing I'm going to do is order your book. I'm so much inspired by you. I'm also looking forward to reading back the things you learned from all your life journey you have mentioned in your book. So it was really a great learning experience and sharing about your journey with you. So thank you. And we would like to see you in this career as a succeeding person in this line ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was a great
Thank
experience and great interacting with you. Thank you for being such a great host. Thank you so much, Sarkari School, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, Abhishek sir, for reaching out to me and really helping us all interns and all the people, all the alumni, and always being there for us. Thank you so much. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Thank you for joining in and enlightening us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So